This is the 24th session of the Taittareeya Upanishad. For those who are new, this Bindoji has been guiding us through Taittareeya Upanishad. And since it is a slow process, all the recordings are available, and this is like what we call Sravana Manana, Nididhyasana of the text in the context of how one perceives reality. So this is just an introduction for people who are new. But today is the 24th. Today's session is the 24th. So the classes are held Wednesdays, Fridays, same time, 8:30 IST. On Sundays, Bindoji gives us time for a Q&A for an hour and a half, same time, starting at the same time. So this is a continuous process. So if you're new, you're welcome to join the process. Or if you just want to listen, you can listen in. And Bindoji is always available to answer all questions. The replays of all these are available because they've been saved. And there is a YouTube channel called Advaita Retold, where all these are also hosted. So I think with that, I'll pass the mic on to Bindoji.
Thank you, Prakash. Welcome all. As informed by Prakash, we are on to the 24th session of Taittareeya Upanishad. Continuing with Brahman Valli, where we are discussing on the Anandamaya Kosa. We have not completed it. So let us start. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrabhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Beda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Vidakshina Namaya. Om Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namah. Hari Om. Shanti Mantram. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are on the fifth Anuvaka, Panchama Anuvaka. Vijnanam yajnam tanute karmani tanute picha vijnanam devaha sarve brahma jyeshtam upasate vijnanam brahma chedveda tasmachenna pramadhyati sharire papmano hitva sarvan kaman samasnute iti tasya esha eva sharira atma yah purvasya tasmadva ye tasmad vijnanamayat Anyondara Atma Anandamaya Tenesha Purnaha Savayesha Purushavidaha Tasya Purushavidatam Annoyam Purushavidaha Tasya Priyameva Shiraha Moda Dakshina Pakshaha Pramoda Uttara Pakshaha Ananda Atma Brahma Pucham Pradishta Tadapyesha Sloko Bhavati. So we discussed about the Priyameva Shiraha Modo Dakshina Pakshaha Pramoda Uttara Paksha. That is, Priyam is what we enjoy or we have the happiness of when we see or when we perceive an object of desire. And that becomes the next level, Moda. Moda means when we possess that what is perceived as the desirable object becomes in our possession, it is becoming what is called moda. And when it is being consumed, either physically or mentally, it is called pramoda. So, priya, moda, pramoda. These are the three levels of happiness which is in the Indian context, or how we classify the three happiness levels. Ananda Atma. So what is Ananda? It is the self of all these happinesses. The Priya also has got Ananda. Moda also has got Ananda. Pramoda also has got Ananda. And embodied with this happiness is what is called the totality of, or the sum total of the happinesses. Brahma Pucham Pradishta. Now, these happinesses, which is there in the Anandamaya Kosa, or the sheath of bliss, is established in the Brahma. So what actually we are enjoying in our happiness, either Priya, Moda or Pramoda, is not to be confused with the Ananda of Brahman. What is there is beyond the Priya, Moda, Pramoda. What Priya, Moda, Pramoda, or the three levels of happiness on a desirable object, is basically reflected happiness at the level of what you call the sheath of happiness. Now, as explained in all other cases, here also we have to understand that this Anandamaya Kosa, even though it is called Kosa for the purpose of explanation, it is the Atma, or it is the Atma itself in the form of creation, which has come from the Andamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. And Anandamaya being the subtle most, this happiness which is there as a Anandamaya is permeating and pervading all other levels also. So we have happiness at the physical level, we have happiness at the prana level, we have happiness at the mental level, we also have the happiness at the intellectual level. So all these levels are permeated with the subtlest form of the creation, which is in the form of Ananda. And subtler than that is the real self, which is beyond, apprehension. So it cannot be seen or known as an object, but at the same time, the presence of it is felt all over. There is nowhere where it is not felt. So we say Ananda iti param brahma. Tadhi subhakarmanaha pratyupastapane putra mitradi vishaya vishesha upadau andakarana vritti visheshaha tamasa aprachyadyamane prasanna abhivyanjate. That is, this Brahma, which is now being reflected in the Ananda form, in the Ananda Kosha, tadhi, indeed that itself, is prasanna abhijayate, in the form of prasanna, or that satisfaction, a happy satisfaction. It is that how it is being reflected on the experiential level. How does it happen? Shubhakarmana pratyupastapyamane. Shubhakarmana, good actions. Pratyupastapidamane, when it is being taken up or completed by the physical, mental or intellectual level, putra mitradi vishaya vishesha upadau, as instruments or objects of causation, like the son, the friend, etc. Adi, vishaya vishesha. Vishaya means objects. Vishesha means special. Each one is special. Some people will have happiness through the son, or some will have friends, some will have other objects which will be giving happening. All these things put together is called Putra Mitradi Vishaya Vishesha Upado. Upado means instrument. And that Andakarana Vritti Visheshe, they all form in the inner being. Andakarana means the mental and intellectual level, which is pervaded by the Ananda. So, Andakarana Vritti Visheshe, it is in the form of thoughts, because every object which has got a name and form is in the form of a thought in our Andakarana. So, even the sun is a physical entity outside, but for the individual, it is in the form of a name and a form as a thought in the inner mind. And that thought form is called vritti. Vritti Vishesha means a special thought created by the object in the bosom. Tapasa aprachadyamane. Tamasa aprachadyamane. When the tamas means here rajas and tamas you have to take together. Aprachadyamane means when it is the intensity of the rajas and tamas get reduced or nullified in the presence of Ananda. What happens is the desire now is moved from Priya, Moda and Pramoda to Ananda level. That time what happens is this Andakarana Vritti Vishesha, this inner thought which is in the form of name and form of a desirable object, aprachadyamane means they become the instrument for diminishing the tamas and rajas, the two agitations which can happen in the mind. The tamas is dullness, rajas is the agitation in the form of expectation, and etc. All those agitations which can happen when we desire an object. Expectation, then agitation, anger, sorrow, all those things when we get it, there is a thrill. All those things all be included in the tamas and the rajas. When that become reduced, why? When does it become reduced? When we get the desirable object at the perception level, we start getting the activity of reducing our anxiety, because it is unachievable to at least perceivable level. From perceivable level, it becomes possession level, that is the moda. And when we are consuming it either mentally or physically, it becomes pramoda. And then after pramoda, this tamas and rajas get reduced or nullified. That is the time when the ananda takes over. That is when we become really happy about it. That is the vritti vishesha. The mental thought becomes null or virtually nil, and the reflected happiness in the Anandamaya Kosa is now fully available for bringing out the Ananda. We are now no more worried at the perception level or the possession level or the consumption level. We have completed all that. So the vritti vishesha has now subsided, aprachadyamane. And that is the time when the happiness happens, that for that time we forget even our physical being. Some happiness, when it becomes so overwhelming, we may forget ourselves. All these are become because the tamas and rajas in the mind becomes null, and the Anandamaya Kosa, Ananda, is the one which is taking over and overwhelming us, whereby the mind's identification with our ego and the individuality itself becomes nil and void. So that is the time when it is in the Ananda level, Anandamaya, that's a Brahma. And all those things are because it is the closest to Brahma or Atma. And Atma is Anandamaya, and it is Ananda Swarupa, not Anandamaya. Anandamaya is at Antakarana level. At the self level or the Atman or Brahman level, it is Ananda Swarupa. It is the nature of Ananda. And that is why prasanne abhivyanjate, that prasannata or that satisfaction of enjoyment of happiness or being in happiness is what is called the prasannata. Tad vishaya sukham iti samagnena vidyaya brahmacharyena abhivanjate. Tad vishaya sukham iti prasiddham loke. Vishaya sukham. This itself is well known in the in the transactional world as objective happiness. Understand, it is not the happiness of the self. It is a reflected one in the antakarana. But when we are having the reflected happiness, that is called the Vishaya Sukham. Vishaya Sukham means objective happiness. Why? Because there is a beginning, there is a period of enjoyment, and then that enjoyment ceases. A new enjoyment or a desire for a new thing takes over. This cycle of objects keep changing. Therefore, Vishaya Sukham, we call it as Sukham as Vishaya Sukham, because we think that this happiness is in the object. But actually the happiness is our nature, which is getting reflected in our internal nature, our antakarana. But we attribute the happiness that putra, the son, or the mitra, or the friend, or any object which is giving us, we thinking we are getting happiness out of the object, that object is the one which is giving us happiness. No, happiness is our nature, our swarupa. But what we are enjoying is the reflected happiness, and that reflected happiness is attributed to the object now. If the same object has been the source of happiness, all the time the availability of this object or whether it is perceivable or not perceivable, that should be giving us a happiness that such a thing is available. But we become happy only when it is perceivable or in the hand's reach. And when we hold it or possess it, the happiness increases. Because we think the object is giving us happiness. Actually, what is happening is our own happiness is now becoming more and more, because tamasa aprachyadyamane. The tamas and rajas which is there before the object was in the perceivable level has now become reduced, where we are no more anxious about the object. Holding it, reduce the anxiety further. And when we are enjoying it or consuming it, we are moving into pramoda level, where this consumption of the object of happiness is now reducing any sort of anxiety or the agitation which is there in the mind, that all the tamas and rajas is getting nullified. And that is the one when becomes the happiness, prasannata, when we are knowing that now it has been consumed or become ours, inseparably ours. A son, when it is born, it becomes inseparably ours. So the happiness is now that I am the father, the son is mine, like that son or daughter, doesn't matter. That is the way in which that our mind is now getting satisfied And that prasannata is the reason why we are having the happiness. Actually, the happiness is not in the object, but it is our own happiness, but the reflected happiness of the andakarana. So you can imagine the real happiness of our Swarupa, which is getting reflected in the andakarana. All the happiness what we enjoyed in our life till now is only reflected happiness of our own nature. It's like, how the sun, when it is reflected in a mirror, still can give the light inside a room, dark room or anything, but nothing like if the sun is shining inside the room. Like that type of a difference is what is our nature of happiness, of our true nature, of our Atma or Brahman, vis-a-vis all the happinesses we have been enjoying in our life. Tad vritti vishesha pratyupastapakaya tapakasya karmanaha anavastitvad sukhasya shanigatva. Now, the transient nature or impermanent nature of sukha, of the reflected sukha in the mind is being defined here. Karmano anavastitvad. Karma means it can be possession, holding, consuming. Or, Surgadi, Putradi, Putragama Yagijeda. If you are doing a yajna for a putra and that karma, all of them are anavastha. There is an anavastha in that, in the sense that they are not permanent. As long as the action is successful, you may get the result. So that is what is called the tad vritti vishesha pratyupastapakasya. So vritti vishesha, again at the thought level, pratyupastapakasya, it has been established in our thought level about the desired object which is to be achieved by the karma or the activity, either physical or mental activity. And anavastitva, those are all anavastha, because whatever is in the realm of time has a beginning in time and end in time is not permanent in nature. Therefore, all the sukham which we are enjoyed till now, that is why none of the world of objects can ever give us a permanent happiness. The permanent happiness is never there in any object. Even you put in all the wealth of the world, still it will not make you happy. You may have the objects, but there is a diminishing value of utility, that you get bored about the same thing. You can ask any millionaire or anybody, they may vouch that if the wealth is still more, we will be happier. But even though what the wealth they have, they may not be thinking. But we may think that, they should be more happy because they are wealthier than us. Only they will know what is the happiness with the money and without the money. And money itself becomes a headache for people for different reasons. So I'm not talking about the wealth and comparing wealth and all those things. Even the possessions like having a house, having children, having friends, even having a health, everything put together, you can say they are all beginning, they have got a beginning in time. So they all will end in time. So nothing is permanent in our happiness, whatever has given us happiness in our life. So, sukhasya kshanikatva. Kshanikam means limited in time. Kshanam means moment, momentary. Kshanikatva means momentariness of sukham. That all the sukham which we have enjoyed has momentariness in it, or the nature of momentum. Moment is there. It means it is time bound. Tad yad andakaranam tapasa tamognena vidyaya brahmacharyena shraddaya cha nirmalatvam apadyate yavat tavat vivikte prasanne andakarane ananda vishesha utkrishyate vipuli bhavati. Now what is that? Tad yad andakaranam tapasa. Now tapas. Here is Acharya is bringing the term tapas means meditation. What even if it is supposed to be the meditation, it is an antakarana vritti. Tamognena, it is that quality of the meditation is to reduce the tamas in the mind, like the dullness or the lethargy in the mind. What are the forms of tapas which are included? Vidya, brahmacharyena, shraddhaya. So with shraddha, if you are undertaking brahmacharya or vidya means here meditation. So or upasana. So shraddhaya, if you are undertaking brahmacharya or upasana, that will reduce the tamas or the negativity or the darkness or ignorance in our mind. And that is the tapas which is there in the andakarana. That what does it give? Nirmalatvam apadyate. A purity of the andakarana happens when by the reducing of the tamas. This tamas, when it is reduced, the what you call nirmalatvam in the mind happens. So yavat nirmalatvam apadyate tavad. As long as that is done, that means as long as you are undertaking a tapas, either in the form of brahmacharya or meditation, tavad vivikte prasanne andakarane. Vivikta means alone or which has been de-identified with the world of objects. Now you are in a meditation where chittavritti nirodha is going to happen. Chittavritti means the thought process, vritti vishesha, which I told you about the objects related. That is being nirodha, or when it is being controlled by or reduced by or prohibited by meditation or brahmacharya. Then the mind becomes separated out. Vivikta means Vivikta Deshi, Likwasi. In the Bhagavad Gita also Bhagavan is referring that. The mind and the individuality is now separating from the transactional world, and he is enjoying a happiness in the meditation. That is called in the andakarane, in the inner bosom, Ananda Vishesha Utkrishyate. A special type of happiness, Ananda Vishesha. That is like a Vritti Vishesha. Ananda Vishesha also is a reflected happiness due to the excess tapas of doing the brahmacharya or meditation. Utkrishyate means it springs or it develops in it, and the more the intensity of the meditation, vipuli bhavati, it expands. So it can be really higher than the objective happiness which otherwise we have through priyamoda, pramoda. In the case of a tapas and meditation, definitely it has got a higher level of happiness. But still, it is a andakarana vishesha. It is called andakarane ananda vishesha. So this is how from the Anandamaya Kosa, whether it is in a meditation during tapas or through the aggrandizing of things and consuming them, the sukham or the happiness which we are enjoying or ananda which we are enjoying is a reflected ananda at the andakarana level or the instrument level of the inner bosom. Now this is again mentioned in the Taittareeya Upanishad itself, right? Raso vai saha. That nature of the self or Brahman or Atman is rasa. Rasa means pure happiness. So, or pure bliss. Raso vaisaha. He is indeed bliss in embodiment or nature. Rasam hi eva ayam labdva anandi bhavati. In andakarana, ayam andakarana. In the andakarana, eva ayam rasam. This rasam, when it is labdva, having obtained in the andakarana, anandi bhavati. The person who obtains this reflection of the happiness of the self in the andakarana, he becomes happy. Yesha hi eva anandayati. This indeed is the permeation or the spreading or access of ananda at the Anandamaya level. And the same thing is mentioned in the Taittareeya Upanishad. Etasya va anandayasya anyani bhutani matram upajivanti. Same anyani means anyani bhutani. Yeah, all the bhutas, all the creation, everything in this world which is being created, asya eva anandaya. They are all become happy due to their own self. Because of that, matram upajivanti. Because of the happiness, the life is meaningful. Only because the life is giving us happiness, all the creations are always looking for happiness, and that is what it is mentioned in the Taittareeya Upanishad, that the context has to be made clear, then only that sentence will become meaningful to us. It is Shrutyandarat. This is how even the other Shrutis are other places where the Shruti is mentioning about the Ananda. Evamcha kama umashamat utkarsha apekshaya sadaguna uttara utkarsha anandasya vakshyate. In the 7th and the 8th Anuvaka, which we will be going very soon, there kama upashamat, when the availability of things which can be quenching the desires. Utkarsha means the higher levels. One level is higher level than the lower level. And that is Shadaguna Uttaram. That is 100 times having more potency to satisfy itself. So it is talking about Manushya Ananda. Then the next level of Pitrulokanam Anandaha. Then Gandharvanam Anandaha. Like that, it is talking about the different gradations of beings. And each being is having a potency 100 times the previous one to satisfy the desires. Therefore, Anandasya Shatagunam, the multiplication of that up to the Hiranyagarbha level. Even the Hiranyagarbha has a desire. He is not desire free. And that is considered to be the highest level of Ananda. Even that is nothing compared to the one who has realized the Brahman, or one who has understood the nature of Brahman as his own nature. His happiness is 100 times more than that of Hiranyagarbha. That is what in the 7th and 8th Anuvaka we will see that. Evancha utkrisyamanasya anandamaya syatmanaha paramartha brahma vijnana apekshaya brahma param eva yat prakritam satyajnana anandam lakshanam yasya cha Pratipatyartam Pancha Annadi Maya Kosa Upanyastaha Yacha Tebhya Abhyantaram Yenacha Te Sarve Atmavantaha Tad Brahmam Pucham Pratishta. It's a long sentence. Let me split it. Evamcha Utkrishyamaanasya Anandamayasya Atmanaha. Evamcha, in this manner, Utkrishyamaanasya, the level of higher potency, Utkrishyamaanasya, Anandamayasya Atmanaha. This, at the Anandamaya level, the Atma, when it is there in the Atma level, Atma at the Anandamaya level, that is the highest which the happiness in the human body we can enjoy. Paramartha Brahma Vijnana Apekshaya, compared to the Brahma Vijnana Apeksha, Paramartham, that the reality of Brahma Vijnanam, compared to that, even though we have higher levels of happiness in the Anandamaya Kosa, Brahma Param Eva Yat Prakritam Satyajnana Anandam Lakshanam. This nature of Satyajnana Ananda of Brahman is Param Eva, is the supreme most. What is that? Brahma Yat Prakritam. That Prakritam means the nature. Yat Prakritam means the nature of Brahman, which is indicated by the word Satyajnanam Anandam as a Lakshana Vakya. That is beyond the concept which can be even thought about in the Anandamaya level of all the being, including Hiranyagarbha. It is beyond. Yasya cha pratipatyartam, to make a understanding possible at our transactional level, Anandamaya Kosa Upanyasta, that the 5 levels of Atma appearing from the Annamaya level, Manomaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya level, has been Upanyasta, means having, is narrated here, is only for the purpose of knowing that how insignificant is the happiness, that highest happiness as a human being you can think about, is so insignificant when it is compared to Yat Prakritam Satyajnana Anandam Lakshanam Brahma, Paramam Eva. That is the supreme most. Yacha Tebhya Abhyantaram. This Brahman, Atman, is the Abhyantaram, means the innermost. When you compare the physical, the 5 levels, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Ananda, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, Brahma. That is no more a Maya. It is no more a sheath or a Adhikaranam for the enjoyment. That is the Prakritam. That is the nature itself. Yena cha te sarve atmavandaha. Because of which, means because of this Atma or Brahman, te means all the 5 sheaths became atmavandaha, means they became the nature where they had their own potency to express, borrowed from the self, because the self is the one which has got potency to express. That expression is percolated down from the Anandamaya, Vijnanamaya, Manomaya, Pranamaya to Annamaya at our physical level. Tad Brahma Pucham Pradishta. For all of them, the Pratishta or the substratum or the place where they are all leaning upon, based on which everything is existing or appears to be existing is Brahma. Therefore, Brahma Pucham Pratishta. That is the ultimate. Tadevacha, here we are, Tadevacha Sarvasya Avidya Parikalpidasya Dvaitasya Avasana Bhutam Advaitam Brahma Pratishta. Brahma Pratishta. Tadeva, that Brahman itself, Sarvasya Avidya Parikalpidasya. Sarvasya means Sarva Bhudasya. Every form of Avidya Parikalpidam means created due to not knowing the reality in our true nature. We are thinking that we are Annamaya, or sometimes we think we are Pranamaya, sometimes we think we are Manomaya, sometimes we think Vijnanamaya, sometimes even we think we are Anandamaya. But all of them are Avidya Parikalpidam. Avidya Parikalpidam means creation of ignorance, which means like the serpent created out of ignorance of the rope, we are having the physical body, we are having the prana body, we are having the mental body, we are having the intellectual body, we are having the bliss body or the happiness level. All those things are from an output which is coming from not knowing our true nature. We are Atma or Brahman, which is Param Prakrishtam Satyajnanam Anandam Lakshanam. That is the nature. Dvaitasya. It is due to this we have the feeling of I am separate, the world is separate, everything in the world is separate and I am separate. This is due to Avidya Parikalpidam. Means the creation. The serpent is Avidya Parikalpidam from the rope. Even though all the three times it was the rope which was the reality, the serpent was created due to the avidya or the ignorance of not knowing the nature of the rope. Same way, not knowing our true nature as the bliss supreme, we are thinking that we are the bliss which or the happiness we are enjoying at the Ananda level, or the happiness we are enjoying at the intellectual level, or at the mind level, or at the vital air level, or at the physical body level. All of them Dvaitasya. Avasana Bhutam Advaitam. All of them will become Avasana Bhutam means will no more be there as a creation. Bhutam means creation. Avasana Bhutam means the end of all creation of Dvaitasya. All the dualities will come to an end where Advaitam Brahma Pratishta. When we are establishing ourselves that we are Brahman, Atman, and that is Advaitam in nature. There is no Dvaitam practically at any point of time. If at all we experiencing it, it is Avidya Parikalpidam. It is due to the ignorance which we are now thinking that we are the physical body or we are the mental, etc. Anandamayasya ekatvam avasanatvad. This Anandamayasya, the nature of the Anandamaya Kosa, ekatva avasanatvad. At that where that end is reflected happiness, and from there we have to look at the source of the reflection. Where does the sun exist in the mirror? The mirror and the sun in the mirror is not the sun. The sun is reflected in the mirror. Same way, this happiness which we are enjoying, even the utmost happiness which you can ever think in the human body, that also is a reflected happiness of Brahman in the Avidya Parikalpidasya Anandamaya Kosasya. This Anandamaya is a creation of the ignorant thinking that we are the body. The mind is a body. The intellect is a body. These are all creation of the ignorance. We are not that. It is just, all will become non-created, never existed in any time of the experiences. All the time we are experiencing was nothing but the Ananda of Brahman only. But we think that it is at the intellectual level, mental level, Ananda level, physical level, etc., etc. They are all glimpses of happiness because we are not seeing the true happiness even when it is being seen in the Ananda level. Forget about the physical level, prana level, mind level or intellectual level. Even at the Ananda level, which is the closest to Brahman, the Ananda level, Anandamaya level itself is a creation of the avidya, thinking that we are the physical body and we are happy, happiness, the utmost happiness. Even that will cease to be separate from Brahman when the avidya goes. Tamo Ghanena. When the tamas or when the ignorance is nullified due to knowledge, the only ignorance, the only antidote is knowledge. So when we know that Brahmavit apnoti param becomes a reality, this is the time when one who knows Brahma as the Brahmavit and he apnoti param means he reaches that supreme bliss or param Brahma. Asti tad ekam avidya kalpidasya dvaitasya avasana bhutam advaitam brahma pratishtam pucham. This, he is repeating again the same thing. Asti means it is there. Tad ekam, that is only one which is there. There is nothing else other than that. And avidya kalpidasya dvaitasya avadana bhutam. When the end of the creation of Dvaitam, which is created out of avidya parikalpitam, Brahma pratishta pucham. That becomes the very substratum or the Brahman of our true nature. We can be freed from our body. No more embodied self. We become the self which has no body. Na jayate, na mriyate va kadachit. Na kadachit. Never was there birth, never there is death for our body, our thing. There is no body because it is avidya parikalpitam. It is a creation due to ignorance that we are the body due to the not knowing our true nature, like the serpent or the snake and the rope. Tadetat asmin api arthe esha shloko bhavati iti panchama anuvakam. Now, to explain this is the continuing the next anuvaka, sixth anuva, the following esha shloko bhavati means this is now being continued in the sixth anuvaka. The sixth section asserts that Brahman is real because the phenomenal universe consisting of entities either endowed with form or without form cannot exist in the absence of a support or a cause. Now, they are existing due to a support or a cause. The same Brahman dwells in the hearts of all as consciousness and manifests itself in all acts of cognition. This cognition or this perception of our physical body, which is avidya parikalpitam, will be able to be seen in the light of consciousness. Then only we will be able to assert that we are Brahman, the real. Because the phenomenal universe consisting of entities are with form or without form is existing only due to avidya. And it cannot exist in the absence of avidya, which is the support or the cause for the existence. And that is can be removed only when we know our true nature, which is the Brahman. So, the sixth Anuvasa goes like this. Asanneva sa bhavati, asad brahmeti veda chet, asti brahmeti cheda veda, santamenam tato viduruti, tasya eshva sharira atma, yah purvasya, athato anuprasnaha, uta vidwan amum lokam pretya, kaschana gacchati. Aho vidwan amum lokam pretya kaschit samasnuta so kamayata bahusyam prajayeti so tapato tapyata sat satapat taptva idam sarvam asrujataha yatitam kincha tat trishtva tadevanu pravishyat tadanu pravishya Satchatyaccha bhavat niruktam cha aniruktam cha nilayanam cha anilayanam cha vijnanam cha avijnanam cha satyam cha anrutam cha satyam abhavat yadidam kincha tat satyamityachakshate tadapyesha shloko bhavati. Iti shashtamanuvak. This is that. Now while chanting, I elongated Kaschana gacchati kaschit samasnuta that these places the chanting is with elongation. I will explain about it when I come to explaining these portions. So let us look at the word by word meaning of each one of them. Asat means non-existent. Eva chet. Eva means verily. Chet means if. Brahma. That means if Brahma is Asat Eva, if indeed Asat, that is the question which is being asked. Asat iti Veda. It will be known as Asat, mean non-existing. Brahma asti iti chet. If Brahma asti mean existing. Iti chet means if this is the way Veda, if it is known, enam him santam existing tato vitu, then know thus tasya of him esha this eva verily sharira embodied atma yaha purvasya like the former. In the case of Anandamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, always we had this thing, Yah Purvasya, like the former, here the embodiment, Yetasmat Atmana Akasha Sambuddha, like that Atmana Pranao Jayate, Atmana Mano Jayate, Atmana Vijnanam Jayate, Atmana Mano Jayate. But when it comes to the Sat or the Brahman itself, here Atmano Jayate, it doesn't say anymore. It is now putting the Upanishad is questioning in a negative way. If it cannot be achieved, Asat eva chet, Brahma. If Brahma asat eva chet is not an Asti Brahma, that will be a question. Is there Brahma or is it you are talking about nihilism? You know, the negative, that void. There is nothing called Brahman because you said Satyajnanam Anandam Lakshana as the Lakshana Vakya. So we know Satyam and Jnanam and Lakshanam as Shabdavachyas. Each one of them have got their own meaning and we know their utility in our transactional world. So when they said that it is Satyam, Jnanam and Anandam, all the three put together, we are not familiar with any object of that nature. So Satya, Jnanam, Anandam, Lakshanam, when it is mentioned, is it indicating towards something which is not physically available or not possible at all? So Asat, is it Asat? This is the question which is coming up. So we will go to how Shankaracharya has commented upon that before getting into the details of it. Asanneva asat sam eva yada asan apurushartha sambandhi evam saha bhavati apurushartha sambandhi. Purushartha sambandhi means achievable. Purushartha means achievable by Purusha. Sambandhi means related. If Brahma is not achievable, asat purushartha sambandhi bhavati. It will become non-achievable for human beings. Asanneva, if it is asat eva, if it is non-existing. Ko asau, what is that then? Yaha asat avidyamanam brahma idi veda vijanadi ched. If yaha asat, that asat means which is avidyamanam, which is not existing, is the nature of Brahma, idi Veda, idi Vijanadi Ched, is the way to be understood. Tat viparyayena yat sarvam vigalpa aspadam sarva pravritti bijam sarva vishesha pratyastam mitav api asti tad Brahma idi Veda Ched kuta punarashanga tad na astitve, tad nastitve, in the non-existence of Brahma. That is, tad viparyena, if in the opposite way, yet sarva vikalpaspadam means sarva vikalpaspadam. What vikalpa means? By the misunderstanding or misapprehension. Depending aspadam means dependence. If this is depending on the misapprehension of sarva pravritti bijam, is the seed for all activities. Because purushartham is not possible, so pravritti bijam becomes null and void. Therefore, sarva pravritti bijam is viparyena, by opposition to that, yet sarva vikalpa aspadam, that becomes which is depending upon the vikalpa, misapprehension for understanding. Sarva vishesha pratyastam itam api, even though it is depending upon sarva vishesha pratyastam, all the adjectives which can be qualifiers for Brahman, because Satyat, Jnanam, Anandam together is the Lakshana Vakya is given. But it is also Brahman, it is Vyapakatvad. So, all the adjectives for all the objects can be applied to Brahman. Asti tad Brahma idi Veda Chet, if that is the way to be understood, kutaha punarashanga tan nastitve, then what is the potency for nastitvam? Brahma is a nastitvam, means non-existent one. Vyavaharatidatvam brahmana iti broma. All we are saying is vyavaharatidatvam. It is not possible for transactional capacity to transact with Brahman, because it is beyond transaction. Sorry. In the Madhyuka Upanishad, if you remember it, avyavaharyam is a word which we studied there. behind, it is non-transactionable. No way we can transact with Brahman, or Brahman is not there in the transactional dictionary. Any word which is there in the transactional dictionary cannot be applied on Brahman. That is all what we are saying. Vyavaharatidam Brahmana iti broma. Vyavahara vishayehi vacharambana matre astitva bhavati buddhi tad viparite vyavaharatite nastitvam api pratipadyate. What is happening is, vyavahara vishaye, in the case of vyavahara or transaction, vacharambana matre, because we are depending upon the vak or the speech or names, we cannot imagine a transaction either mentally, physically or imaginationally without verbal support. Any transaction has dependency on the verbal. Here vacharambana means vikara. Even we have to take the forms also, even though it is vacharambana matre. And that is the dependency bhavati. Astitvam bhavati buddhi. So the buddhi, the confirmation of the logic, here the word buddhi should be taken as the confirmation of the logic or the intellectual confirmation. Astitva bhavati. That dependency is on the vacharambana matre due to the name and form. Tad viparite. In opposition to that, vyavaharatite, beyond the transaction where the vacharambana or vikara cannot be applied, nastitvam api, even the word nasti becomes a transactional world, because when asti is there, nasti is there. When I am saying there is the object in front of me, and when I am saying there is no object called the horns of a hare or a son of a barren woman, that is a nasti. So asti and nasti are also depending upon the vak or the speech, figure of speech. So in the vyavahara, even nastitvam is depending upon the figure of speech called asti, opposite of that as nasti. That is what is being pratipadyate. That is what is coming in your mind. That is not what we are talking about. Here what we are talking about is vyavahara atitam. It is not vyavahara inability, not possibility of vyavahara. It is beyond vyavahara. That is what we have to understand. Yatha gadadi vyavahara vishadaya upapannaha san tad viparitaha asat iti prasiddham. He is talking about asti and nasti. Yatha, just as gadadi vyavahara vishadayataya upapannaha san, that sat is born out of gadadi vyavahara vishayam, that object called gada or pot, because of the vyavahara transaction which is taking place in the form of the shape of the pot and the name of a pot. There is a vyavahara and there is a vishaya, what is the pot. It is born out of that what is called the sat. The existence of the pot is not of the pot, but born out of a transactionary object created due to the word pot and the form of the pot. We are now saying there is the pot. The pot is now a existing pot because of the name and the form. that existence is not the name, existence is not the pot, but the existence is an experience. Upapannam means born out of the name and form of the pot, and the existence is now felt in the pot. Tat viparitaha asan iti prasiddham. When the pot is not there, we say there is no pot. The ghada bhava. The pot abhava is there. Iti prasiddham. Evam tat samanyad hi samanyad iha api samanyad idaha api syad brahmanaha nastitvam pratyashanka. That is the reason why now you are having a doubt. Pratyashanka means doubt for the existence of Brahman also. Tasmad uchyate. Therefore, the Upanishad is saying, Asti Brahma iti chet veda. Asti Brahmeti chet veda iti. So, the Upanishad said that. What did it say? Asti Brahmeti chet veda. So, that is where we have to understand that. What did it say? Well, it is that asanne sabhavati asad brahmeti veda asti brahmeti ched veda. So asti brahma iti ched veda. So that is what is referring here as tat viparite. That therefore we are thinking kim punaha syat tat asti iti vijanataha. Then the Purva Pakshi is still asking, Kim Punaha, what again should we understand Vijanataha, understand by the word Asti iti, when you are saying Isti Tadihi, Tadaha. That is being mentioned as Santam means Vidyamanam, Brahma Swarupena, the nature of Brahman, Paramartha Sadatma Apannam Enam Evam Vidam Vidu Brahma Vidaha. The Brahmavid or those who know Brahman, Evam Vidu, they understood it as in the following way. How? Vidyamanam Brahma Swarupena. There is the nature of Brahman which is existing, Paramartha Sad Atma Apannam. Paramartha Sadatma Apannam. The reality of existence from which comes the feeling of existence. Now, the reality and existence are one and the same. That is why it is said, Paramartha Sadatma Apannam. So, very crucial for understanding. Please give importance to the statements which Shankaracharya is making. A casual listening will miss the point which he is bringing it. I am repeating it and making the stop here and calling your attention to give importance here. Vidyamanam Brahma Swarupena. Vidyamana means the existence of Brahma nature, the nature of Brahman. How does it happen? How does those who knew Brahman understood it as Paramartha Sadatma Apannam. It is born out of the Paramartha Sadatma. Sadatma means Sadeva Atma. The existence itself is the nature of Atma, or is the nature of what? Paramartha, reality. Evam Vidam. In this manner, Viduhu understood Brahma Vidaha. Please listen to this again. I don't want you to miss out that. Tatah Tasmat Therefore, tasmat astitvam eva aswatvam astitva vedanat. Astitva vedanat saha anyesham brahma vitneyo bhavati ityartaha. Atat tatas tasmat. Therefore, astitva vedanat, by experiencing or knowing that astitvam or the existence, saha Brahma here is anyesham Brahma vitneyo bhavati ityartha. It is possible for those who know Brahman, this astitvam bhavati, they will also come to know the existence is there in when they come to know about this astitvam. It is through this astitvam what one will come to know about the existence of Brahman. I am stopping here because I don't want to overstretch I have extended the time. I will go this part again in the next Wednesday's class for clarity purpose again once more, because this is where the Sat aspect which Venkat was asking in the last class is being explained very, very clearly. And for us to know Brahma, we should know it through Astitvam. This existence, if we can see or we can know, then we know Brahman. And that will make our existence, it is not the existence is separable or divisible or make anything. It is in and through everything. There is nowhere where we can segregate Astitvam or the existence. But when we depend upon the name and form, we feel the Astitvam is in the pot, in me, in you, etc. But the Astitvam is not divided because the pot is having an existence. We feel the existence in the pot because the pot is depending upon the existence for its own existence. Same is the case for you and me, which I will go through this and explain it in detail in the Wednesday's class. So let me stop here. I have not completed the explanation. Please understand that. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadidamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyavada. Sorry, I extended the time. So you can ask the question answer now, or you can also use Sunday question answer session for clarifying any point which you want clarity in this session. Over to you, Prakash.
Thank you, Binduji. Thank you very much. This was a very immersive and very, very deep class. So thank you very much. We still have 15 minutes. I don't know if you're feeling tired, we can, have one or two questions and close it, or if you want to wait for 15 minutes.
I can take the questions.
Okay. So the hand raising is open. Or if you don't feel like coming up, you can ask the question in the chat.
Namaste, Binderji, everyone.
Namaste, Karan.
I have a question. Advaita has two ways with God. They don't deny God. So if you go to the God level, would that be on the bliss, sheath level?
God is at the Hiranyagarbha level, or the first creation, who creates further. That Karya Brahman,
Okay.
what is called the from Brahman, which is the Karana, or the cause, first cause, the first is Hiranyagarbha, which we call it as Ishvara, is the God.
Okay. And that is again connected to deep sleep, right?
It is cannot say connected to deep sleep. That don't bring that connection here, because
Okay.
deep sleep analysis should not be mixed up with this Ishvara and deep sleep. Don't bring that. That
Okay.
deep sleep is at the personal level, whereas Ishvara is in the cosmic level.
Okay. Understood. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, President. Namaste, Venkat.
Vinodji, I think we can take a break. It has been a pretty immersive session. Maybe we'll keep the questions for Sunday. Maybe take an early break today. We can always discuss on Sunday night.
Yeah, I'm okay with it, because
Yeah.
it will not be possible for me to do justice for, get into that, because even Sunday will be not clear for you. For the reason is that Wednesday, when I revisit and take you through the finer aspects of this, then only it will become clearer to you. So I will prefer to even do a very small session on Wednesday and leave the question answer session I may do for 30 or 45 minutes for Wednesday and leave more for question answer session on Wednesday. I don't mind that, because this aspect, if you are able to understand, you are able to apply it to yourself, you will be a Brahmavit. It is my guarantee. It is the Upanishad guarantee. It is the guarantee of Shankaracharya. One who knows that Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. You should know Brahma as what it is. So I don't mind spending even question answer session for 2 sessions on that. Never mind. But this aspect is the root, the only access which we have to know our nature is through this Astitva or the Sat. That is why it is so important.
Vinodji, if you can bring that, there is a dimension you brought in earlier, the Sarva Karanatvat and Sarva Ananyatvat. And now it is coming back. It is expanded into Sarva Vikalpaspadam, Sarva Pravritti Bijam, Sarva Vishesha Pratyasya Mitamapi. All that is now getting connected. If you can bring that dimension when you explain it next time, that
Sure.
will go deeper.
Yeah. Because you have brought it very clearly. I am happy that you have been able to make the connection between these words, because that shows how deeply you are investing yourself in learning this. I'm really happy for you, Venkat. Any small questions? You are welcome. Is there any question?
But
God can be before the
Vinodji,
first creation.
I think you can go.
No. The God can be there before the first creation. Joy, it is as per Advaita, Hiranyagarbha level is the Ishvara, what we call the Ishvara. Hiranyagarbha is the Pradamaja, means first creation. The firstborn is called Hiranyagarbha. Therefore, Sarva Vikalpaspidam. It is from the Vikalpa, the God, every creation is from the Vikalpa of the first created. That is why Tatrushtva Tadeva Anupravisya. We will go into that aspect in this particular Anuvaka after having brought the clarity to what is Astitva. Then it is explaining why it is important to know the nature of Brahman as Asitva, because when you come to the creation level, Tat Trishva Tadeva Anupravishyat, all those time it will be with this in mind, we will be explaining. What is that is coming into every creation will be known when I explain that in the following classes. So please wait for that explanation. What you said is from the normal parlor or the Puranic or the Dvaita level, God is the first one. Before God or beyond God, there is nothing else. Yes, that is from the Dvaita point of view, and that is why the Advaita, Sarva Vikalpa, Advaita, when Dvaita, Apohan, when it is being, Dvaita is being removed, we reach at Advaita level, and Advaita level, Brahma Eva Satyam, Sa Ekaha, Sa Ekam with, there is only one, that is called Brahman. And the Brahman is being called as Brahman just for the purpose of transaction. The word Brahman is also within the transactional world, depending upon the word. Brihatvad Brahma. But the real Brahman is Yato Vacho Nivartande Aprapya Manasa Saha. That time when the explanation comes in the 9th Anuvaka, there is a detailed discussion on that. We will go to that at that time. Rini, any questions?
Bindu, there's a general question from Varun, but I think we can take that up in the Sunday class, isn't it?
Yeah, it's even same thing. Space also mentioned it about Brahmacharya. Even though Brahmacharya is considered as celibacy of the body and the mind, and it is a form of tapas, in the form of austerity, with the knowledge that I am the body. For whom is the celibacy important? One who thinks he is a body, and with the mind also he is manasa vacha karmana. By this one, he wants to do brahmacharya, means it is only if you assume yourself to be the embodied individual. But this Upanishad is going to break that idea in all of us that we are the embodied individual human beings. No. That is due to avidya kalpitam, avidya pratyupastapitam. It is the creation of not knowing the cause why we are feeling that we are limited individual. So once we feel that we are limited individual, this brahmacharya and meditation, all of those things becomes tapas. And each one of them have got their own result, because every karma has got a result. So tapas is also a karma. Meditation is also a karma. So all karma has got manasikam, vachikam, kayikam. All those things have got their own results. And that results will be for bringing the rajas and tamas lower into our functional level. When the tamas and the rajas is lower, we will be more in the swatika level. In the sattva shuddhi, when the buddhi becomes sattvic, that is the time when we will be able to apply the words of the Upanishad to ourselves, to remove our feeling that we are the embodied individual. That is the level to which the ignorance is clutching us and linking to the physical body. That knowledge of knowing our true nature will release us. That is what is called the mukti or moksha. Release us from the limitations what we are now feeling with the body and the problems related to the body. And that is what is being taught in the Taittareeya Upanishad Brahma with Brahmanandavalli. We will know that Satyajnanam Anandam is my nature, our nature, and Brahmavit, one who knows that, Apnoti Param, means he becomes himself Brahman. Brahmavit Brahmeva Bhavati. That also comes in this Upanishad only. Knower of Brahman becomes Brahman itself. Because there is nothing called knowing Brahman and remaining separate. It's not an object. It is telling your own stage. Tat Tvamasi. That is our nature, is what the Upanishad says. And once you know that Aham Brahmasmi, that Aham and Brahman are not two, then Asmi will not be there. That I am that once that becomes our experience or the knowledge, there the experience and the knowledge becomes one and the same. It is a knowing and being. That time, there is no Brahman separate from me, and Aham Brahmasmi is not a statement for others or to be repeated on mental for meditation. It is an experiential thing which becomes a reality of our own true nature. Only when it is there, it is a soliloquy or you talking to yourself. I am that. Tad Tvamasi becomes Aham Brahmasmi.
Binduji, these are the hints given in the Shikshavali, that Vyafratatmaka Brahma Upasana, that Mahachamasya, that Mahat Tattva is also
Yes.
inserted in the, Vijnanamaya Kosha as the Mahat Pucha Pratishtha.
Yes.
That Mahat is the critical key, where the Gnanam to be moved out. I think when Shankaracharya gave a hint, move away from the identification from body, mind, intellect into the Brahma, the Brahmakara Vritti, shift it. Is
Right.
I think the hint in the Shikshavali for Vyafritopasana now become real in the Vijnanamaya Kosha.
Right.
Then the shift towards Anandamaya, where that Ananda Spurana is a method given, but it is not enough. This is like 100 times, right?
Yes.
Whatever possible here is of no consequence, and there is a launch provided
Right.
with Asti. I think that is where the structure is emerging.
Yes.
We'll wait to hear more from you. I think it's all along the way. It is there somewhere. This is how I'm
Yes.
connecting with.
Yes, Venkat, you're absolutely right.
Hmm.
Joy?
I think Binduji will just say thanks, and the question, we can address it later. It just occurred to me that the question of how to be aware is almost the same question as, in a way of saying how to meditate, basically. So, because of the direct pointing, none of these things are talked about. It just directly points you that just look or just be aware, because you are awareness, and nothing else is spoken of. So it was from that point of view that I was, wanting to touch this point.
Yeah. See, the being aware is bringing that aspect of our own existence and our own, awareness to our, not the individuality anymore. That is where the awareness has to take us. But it has to start from which we know. Then gradually we can elevate ourselves. I know I am a physical body, I am male and named Bindu and aged so and so, etc., etc. That is what is known. So first I have to be witness to that, not as I am that. From that I have to now, I know that this body which I am now, I have the knowledge that I have the body. My hand is, I don't say I am the hand, I say my hand. That means it is belonging to something. Therefore, I say my body also belongs to that somebody or something which is owning the body. So I am not the body. That way, when I start witnessing my body, I have to put effort to see my body as separate from myself. This level of separating my physical body is the first step, because that is easy for us to do, because our transaction is also saying that my body, my heart, my leg, my eyes, my ears, everything is mine. But then who is the I who is saying my? And that is not the body. But we are so much identified with the body. So even though we use all terminologies as a object in possession, that possession of the object now possesses me to feel that I am the body. That distinction between the two is the beginning of witnessing. If you are able to successfully do that, then we can move to the prana level, then prana to the mind level, from mind to the vijnana level, from vijnana level to the ananda level, and beyond the ananda level, we will reach to our nature of Brahman or Atman. That is what is called the Panchakosha Viveka, which is a meditation process. But here, even though the Panchakosha is being mentioned, it is mentioned as for a different purpose, which we'll be seeing in the Wednesday and Friday class when we come to that. But the same thing can be used for meditation also.
Thank you, Binduji.
Thank you, Joy. Prakash, you can stop.
Yeah. So, thank all the people who came up to ask questions, and a big thank you to everyone who participated. And let's join in thanking Binduji for such a deep and immersive class on the Anandamaya Kosa. And hopefully we can listen, do the Sravana Manana and come back for the next class. So see you all on Sunday, or next class on Taittareeya is on Wednesday. Thank you, Binduji. Over to you.
Thank you, Prakash. Thank you, Venkat, Joy, Karin, for the questions. And welcome and thank you all again for the question and answer session on Sunday. Please come up with the questions, and expecting to see you all on Wednesday. Thank you for being there. Without you, the class would not have happened. And I hope you are all getting benefited out of the class. Thank you. Hari Om. Namaste.
Hari Om, Binduji.
Good night.
Good night.